Okay, so I am now joined by Helsinki Wolverines defensive lineman Ville Valasti. Ville, how are you doing?
Doing absolutely great. Thank you, Chris. Glad to be here.
Good. Thank you very much for coming on. And first of all, before we get started into the interview, I'd just like to congratulate you on a successful ELF season last year with the Frankfurt Galaxy. I mean, how did it feel to win that inaugural title in the ELF last year?
Yeah, that was indeed probably one of the greatest experiences that I've had in football outside of the US. I mean, it was a great league, great atmosphere. I think like Coach Esume and everything, like everyone else, they contributed a whole lot to the league and the development of it. I mean, there was a lot of doubters, so to say, but the end, it was great to get to the final and host the trophy at the end. So it was absolutely phenomenal.
Yeah, it was a great game. It was great to see a lot of fans there as well watching the game and a lot of hype with that ELF last year. So really good for European football. So first of all, just give us a quick bio about where you're from, kind of what school you attended,
Yeah,
your previous playing history, and your major accomplishments. Really, I mean, you've just said one, but major accomplishments.
well, I mean, I've played football for not that long. I mean, honestly, like 13 years or so. But within that time span, I've actually gone to the United States, played Division I football, went to junior college, played in national level teams as well. So, but probably one of the greatest accomplishments or stuff that I actually got to do was to be part of the Eastern Michigan football program for 3 years. Prior to that, I was in junior college trying to get a scholarship, and anyone who is familiar with that was it as well. So like you have a lot of people living in the 2-bedroom apartments trying to grind it out, trying to get to the end result where you're going to get a scholarship to that school, and it's a really specific context and environment on its own. So I was really happy to go through that path and eventually land a scholarship to myself.
Yeah, some great experiences there. So, what factors contributed you coming back to the Wolverines? Obviously, you played there previously before in previous seasons. What contributed in you signing back for the Wolverines this year?
I mean, it's my own home club. I'm familiar with the coaches and the general manager and all that. So there's a lot of value behind why I wanted to come back here. But it wasn't until like January or February that I actually was sitting down with with my family and thinking about all this. So like I've been traveling for a majority of my whole career, lived in the States for 4 years. I was almost 2 years in Germany as well. I decided that, I think this was the year that I really wanted to take off, from the professional side of it and trying to come back down here, trying to build the home team, trying to give something back to the club that, allowed me to go and do that stuff. So there was the family aspect as well. I wanted to be closer to my family, spend some time with my family and friends, so to say. So that was another thing too. I mean, my philosophy to football is that I go season by season. I really don't have anything, regards to the future. I enjoy playing it. I love the sport. So I think this was just a perfect opportunity to just come back here and contribute back.
You've had a lot of experience. You've played at a real high level. So, what sorts of skills and attributes are we going to see from you this season that are going to help the Wolverines contribute to be overall successful in the league this year?
I like to finish football in like a close group of people. So like I'm really, really like, they're just another part of the family that I have here. Personally, what I would say that what I would try to do this year is just to bring out the leadership role. That's one of the biggest things that I believe that I have as a player is to contribute to the being as a captain of the team, trying to get everyone on the same board and, have that same kind of a mindset of what we're trying to achieve this year. That's something that we barely even discuss at this level is that, okay, what type of people and players you have aside from the skills that they're going to provide for the team, but also the leadership category. I think it has a huge influence on the performance of the team, and I'm pretty sure that I'd be one of those people who can actually fulfill that role and bring more to the table in a sense.
Yeah, leadership's a big thing in every team, and as you say, with your experience, that's going to help them tenfold. Definitely, I completely agree with you. So, obviously, as it is every season, winning the title it's the important goal. It's the goal that we all strive for. Do you have any individual goals for yourself to make sure you do your part? Obviously, you've talked about the leadership and stuff, but what about individually on the field?
So this season will be a whole different from any other season that I played. I sat down with Coach Mattingly, talked about the whole process and the place that I'll be, playing, of course, D-line, but this is the first year I'm actually, going to the offensive side of the ball.
Whoa.
So I switched my jersey number from 55. So that's what I played with my whole life or whole career. So I switched it to 98 so I can go get some balls. So I'll be playing a little bit tight end.
Nice.
Not majority of the time, but I want to test out the skills and see what I have, because I mean, you do the same stuff year over and over, it gets kind of boring. I mean, but I definitely wanted to, test out my wings and see like, whether I could do the offensive side of the ball as well.
Love that. It's all about being an all-round athlete. See,
Yeah,
contributing to the team where you can. Yeah, that's great. We're going to talk a little bit defensively now. So in practice at the moment, is there anything you're working specifically in practice and defense that we maybe didn't see last season that you're going to try and implement this season?
yes, and there is a huge deal we're trying to get after with pass rush wise. So basically, I'm player coach for our defensive line as well. So I oversee all the schemes and stuff that we're trying to implement. But more so, we're trying to implement more of the individual skill sets and trying to develop those. Also, I spent a lot of time on YouTube and talking with different coaches like Coach Brandon Jordan and like Craig Rowe. I mean, they've developed some great tools and kits that a lot of coaches can implement in their own coaching as well. So I've used those with our group, definitely seeing some improvements.
There's a lot of hype about the Wolverines this year. Signed a lot of big names. I spoke to Coach Mattingly as well. He's still recruiting more players, and as you say, you're trying to recruit something on the pass rush side of things as well. There's a lot of hype surrounding you guys, and you may be one of the favorites to kind of go and win it all this year. Do you think that's a bit of a distraction for the team, or are you just kind of putting it to the back?
I think nobody even pays attention to it in our team. I mean, it's really, self-centered team. We don't pay attention to the outside hype. I mean, obviously, shout out to Jabari for dropping out the gridiron. Well, the naysayers and all that, but it's funny thing to actually follow from the perspective. So there is this webpage called Gridiron where you can go and read all these people just talking anonymously about teams and their coaching staff and players. So it's kind of entertainment in a sense, but we don't take anything as a granted, or like that would affect our perception on how we do things in our team. Obviously, yeah, there is a huge hype going around of us signing players, but it's just the players that we need, since we are missing some key players in certain positions. So D-line is fine. We're getting after it. Now we're bringing a few O-linemen just to get more depth and some variation to the O-line, so we're actually able to establish a reliable offense also, because I think that was one of the key areas or main issues that we had last year, that we didn't have a sufficient offense.
Good, nice little insight there. So exactly that, white noise, isn't it? I've been around in a team environment before. Just leave the hype behind, just worry about yourselves and do your job. Great attitude to have. So last question from me. So what is it about the Helsinki Wolverines as a team that convinces that you guys are legitimate contenders this season? What are you bringing? What's different about you?
So if we go back in 2019, I mean, there was, I don't know if you're familiar with all the nonsense that went on to it, but, we had to fire our head coach due to some, thematic reasons and all that. And, that was just a huge break dealer in that sense. So ever since Mattingly took over the head coaching position, it's been a gradual development going towards something. And I think this was the year that the general managers and the team leaders and everyone else wanted to, emphasize that, hey, okay, it's now or ever. Like, let's put everything under board. Get everyone on the same page. There's been some great hirings for the assistant position coaching staff as well. So like we have everything set. So I think it's just a matter of getting to the start of the season, bringing all the building blocks together and see where we can take this boat. But I would say that, I definitely think we have one of the top contending teams, if not the best. It's just a matter of execution and, doing everything systematically and trying to prepare for each week to go 1-0.
It's not just about having those pieces of the puzzle, it's putting them together as well, isn't it? And showing that on the field. So it's all well and good having all these guys, but you've still got to put that performance onto the field. Anything else from you that you want to say or put on the podcast?
No, not much to say. I hope that all the AFF podcast listeners have the access from the I think it's the AFI, right? So you're able to see the live streams through our from our games as well.
Yeah. So obviously, if you're in Finland, I think you have to go through Route2, but everyone else should be able to see it through through the streaming platform, the AFI stuff. So yeah, that should be good. All right. So just lastly, just from me, thank you very much for taking time out of your studies. I know you're studying for your masters at the moment. So thanks for taking the time out to have a chat with me and being on the podcast. And just best of luck for the upcoming season. And I wish you all the best. I as a neutral watcher, I can't wait for the season. I think it is wide open this year. Nobody really knows what's going to happen. So it's going to be great for the neutral watcher, definitely.
Appreciate you bringing me in. I mean, I love doing podcasts and like talking about football. It's one of the things that I like to do outside of coaching and playing, just get more insights and knowledge of what people actually do in this sport. And I think it's one of the important factors that we keep it global, trying to get different perspectives and stuff that is going on in different leagues. So I appreciate you.